Am I the a-hole for naming my adoptive parents as my parents instead of my bio parents in an article about me? This is kind of emotional for me, so please be nice even if I suck here. I'm 26 female, I'm all set to finish my PhD this year. Some of my published work has recently gotten press coverage in certain circles, and an article was even written about it in my hometown newspaper. In an interview, I was asked about my family, and I provided a picture of me with the people I consider my real parents, even though they've never legally been my parents. That's what prompted a controversy. My bio family is extremely religious, and they kicked me out because they thought I was gay. Not true, just a late bloomer. And an apostate. True, when I was 17. My grandparents let me stay for long enough to finish school, but it was rough. I was able to scrape by and cobble together enough scholarships for college out of state, but I had a breakdown early in my freshman year because I was so stressed out. In a big city for the first time, and I had literally nobody. There was a tiny restaurant off campus that was cheap and quiet, and I used to go there sometimes just to get away, and because the immigrant couple who ran it were always nice to me. After the lady asked if I was okay one day, I broke in tears, and they kind of just adopted me. They talked me through my breakdown and had me over for dinner and on holidays, and treated me just like one of their kids. I helped them with some things around a restaurant while I was in school. Their daughters are older than me but we're friends, and I'm an auntie to their kids now. These people had no reason to take me in. We're not even the same race. But they did, and I introduced them as my parents now, and they call me their daughter. Once I'm established in my career, I plan to chip in to help them retire. I've kept some contact with my bio family, and the relationship has improved with time as my parents have mellowed out, and several of my younger siblings and other family have left their religion or become much less involved. But I can't forget being abandoned. They've been wanting me to come visit for a while, but I haven't. And when they saw the picture of me with my adoptive parents in an article, they freaked out. Their argument is that they raised me and they already apologized for kicking me out. So this is very hurtful. I think I wouldn't be doing my work without my adoptive parents' intervention, but they aren't my legal parents either. A lot of my bio family and friends are split on the issue. Some say I should have thrown my bio parents a bone since reconciliation is happening slowly. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. Blood is not thicker than water. Opie should tell them that she was born again, since she would have died without these people. Okay, make it a career/spiritual/emotional death without them. So they are your career/spiritual/emotional parents. I mean, if your parents are reconciling slowly and you want that, then fine. Just tell them you wouldn't be here today without the adoptive family. And since the article was about your work, that your support family was the family that enabled you to do that work. I sometimes find that calmly and emotionally repeating a phrase wins an argument. I wouldn't be here today without them. They are my parents in that respect. And just repeat that line if your bio parents argue. Also tell them, I heard your apology, but I've not received support of any kind. Emotional, financial, or life advice from you. Until that break is healed, I was simply the abandoned kid that found a new family. Not stay home. Forget bio for a second. Couple A kicked you out at a vulnerable age for no reason. Couple B scooped you up and showed you unconditional love. You were not wrong either way, but it's clear why you chose the way you did. Congratulations on your hard-earned education. Congrats on finding a true family. I think it's really sad that parents so easily discount serious emotional pain. They don't realize that the damage done may never be healed. They need to accept what they did and live with the consequences. Not stay home. I don't think it is irrational they got hurt, but they are in no position to demand any recognition. You survived and thrived despite they were your parents, not because of it. You could have been mistreated, dead, or in an institute. Check your language. They mellow down. Really? Don't you ever think that by wanting to reconcile or making a step towards it, you owe them anything. And now they're trying to guilt you. They should be begging you to acknowledge their mere existence. Next story. Am I the a-hole for blackmailing my mother and airing out her finances to the family? For quick backstory, my mother is a textbook narcissist, and her whole family has always tiptoed around her feelings since she had a kid at 15 and had to give it up for adoption, as my grandparents refused to quit their jobs to care for a baby. Her parents have literally bought her houses and gift her $20,000 to $50,000 a year. I, 25 female, and my fiancé, 27 male, just got our first home together. The down payment was $12,000, and my mom offered $3,000 towards it to help us out. I did not ask. She offered, and we would have waited a few more months, no problem. Anyway, this year my grandfather passed and she got well over $80,000 handed to her, so it's not like she needed that $3,000. Long story short, one of our appliances was on the fritz, and I told mom I didn't have time to talk because I was working on our appliance. Within an hour, my cousin calls me from my nan's house to say mom and nan are on the phone, and nan is saying things like, "Who cares if it's broken? Let her buy a new one. You just bought her a house. You better not give her a dime." Which, 1, it's fixed, it works fine. 2, I didn't ask for a dime. 3, I never said it was broken or had to be replaced. And 4, she did not buy us a house. This absolutely set me off. I sent my cousin our closing documents and it shows gifted amount from blank. I also sent screenshots of my conversations with my mom talking about this cousin who was recently visiting. Mom saying things like, she can't have an eating disorder when all she did was eat when she was here. I was basically saying don't believe her because all she does is talk crap. Look at what she has to say about you as soon as you leave, after acting fake AF all week. I found out mom has been telling her whole side of the family she purchased our home for us and has been sending us money for bills because we are so bad with money. I was pissed by this as well. I suspect this stems from her jealousy as I started working at her old job, surpassed her position, and not only do I make more money than her, they are paying for my BA to promote me further. After some super sleuthing on my end, I found out mom got $20,000 from nan the same month we bought our house because she needed help since she bought a house for her daughter, when in reality she spent it all on drugs and fancy dinners with men who don't value her. After I sent all my supporting documents and screenshots to the family with her bragging about a pound of weed getting shipped to her house and everything else she wastes money on, I'm now being berated and being told I am the source of all the drama and I should kept my mouth shut. That this is essentially blackmail and I'm trying to destroy our family. I told my mom's twin this has been brewing for years and her family didn't do my mom any favors by letting her get away with everything since her teen pregnancy. And it's unfair to saddle me with the responsibility now. It's been over a month with little contact from my mother, and her twin still pestering me to apologize and include her in my wedding planning. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. What a disaster. Don't apologize. You had enough and told the truth of it all. I'd stay in no contact with them if I were you. Who wants that kind of grief in their life? Not me, and neither should you, OP. SMH. They clearly don't know what blackmail is. OP isn't requiring someone to give them something or they will do something. Not day hole regardless. I will go with not day hole. Mostly because you wouldn't be airing screenshots if your mother hasn't been lying about stuff in the first place. In a way, she was defaming your character and you proved it wrong. Your family's the reason for all of this, since instead of getting therapy for your mother, they kept paying her up. Your mother's twin is mad because you broke the status quo of letting Opie's mom have her way, stood your ground and proved her wrong. You should consider if you want to keep a relationship with these people and set some boundaries. I would also give back the $3,000 to your mom and send a transaction copy to everyone before she can lie about that too. It's easy to call it just drama when we aren't in the receiving end of countless abuse and broken boundaries. Not the a-hole, as I'm guessing you have had years of her gaslighting your family and knew you needed to back up your story with evidence. You're the family scapegoat. The twin is nuts too. She just doesn't want to have to deal with your mom anymore and is looking to dump her on you. She sounds like she hasn't emotionally matured past 15, as no one has allowed her. It is too late now. Free advice, just sit back and feel how much less stress you are under now that she is gone. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for giving my sister brutal honesty? My sister is morbidly obese, technically speaking. She's 100 pounds overweight. For a while, my folks have been concerned. When they've brought up concerns to me, I've shared my concerns as her doctor. I think out of fear of potentially losing her / her cutting off communication with them, my parents have said nothing to her. For the longest time, I said nothing. I figured it was a no-win situation for me, and just that my siblings' weight didn't seem to be something I needed to throw my hat in the ring on. Right now, she's unemployed, and my parents are footing the bill for her everything. Rent, food, entertainment, everything she does right now is paid for by them. Because they were redoing the floors and because of an asbestos problem that the apartment building management found, she just spent 10 days with me. I work from home, so we were around each other the full 10 days and I got to see how she lives. This girl casually ran up a $90 bill just in snacks alone. Her day's 3 meals, snacks, TV, and YouTube. On her last nights here, I decided to take her out to dinner. Problems arose when she literally tore the pants button off trying to get it to fasten. I don't know if she meant it rhetorically or what, but she asked, "Why is this happening?" I told her that it's because she has a poor diet and lives an unhealthy lifestyle. I warned her that if she kept it up, there were going to be many more clothes malfunctions down the road. I told her I was scared for her future. She believes I'm the a-hole for giving that answer and has labeled it as body shaming. I don't label it as such because I never mentioned her body, and I never called her fat. I kept it about her lifestyle and her diet. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Body shaming is totally different, and people need to stop using body positivity as an excuse to be unhealthy. I do agree so much here. I was even accused of body shaming by giving tips to get fit to someone who was posting about being overweight since the lockdown. I just don't get it. Did a person ask for tips? If they did, then absolutely. If the person was just complaining and you offered and asked for advice, then yeah, that's an a-hole move. Sometimes people just want to shout into the void about something and be heard. It may or may not be part of their process of coming to terms with the situation. But they weren't asking for help. They're just processing their emotions out loud, so to speak. If they keep complaining and don't ever take action, well, sucks for them. They lose the right to complain. If they complain for a bit and then eventually take steps to fix the issue, then it's just their process of figuring things out. Not stay home. We have a major problem right now in figuring out the line between body shaming and your lifestyle is killing you. Maybe you could ask her if there is anything you can do to help her change her lifestyle. That's a line that I guess I didn't toe very well. I ditto the suggestion of asking her if there are things you can do to help. I've been unhappy with my weight for a while, but only recently did I really get myself off my butt to do something about it. And it would be a lot easier with a buddy. Cooking healthy meals for one/by myself is boring. Same with going to the gym. If your sister is interested in changing something, whether it's food or exercise, offer to be on board with her. And I'm not suggesting a diet. I'm suggesting more a focus on healthier eating in general. Not stay home. Pants rip because they don't fit anymore. Only someone in denial will ask, why is this happening in this situation? She asked, you answered. I thought you answered quite kindly and in a manner that spoke of concern, not fat shaming. Hopefully she thinks about it. Exactly. The cold answer would have been, you got too big for those pants. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my husband passed out on our lawn? My female 30 and my husband male 32 have a toddler together. Our property has no fence. I was inside. My husband was sitting on the porch watching our son, and our son was playing on the lawn. All of a sudden, I heard my kid wailing and rushed outside. He had fallen and scraped his knee. I saw my husband head over before me, which makes sense because he was closer than I was. But when he squatted down to help, he fainted. The exact timing isn't clear. I don't know if he squatted and then fainted or fainted mid-squat. I just know he was passed out on the grass by the time I got there. My husband is squeamish. He doesn't like gore and blood makes him uncomfortable. I knew this when we dated, and I knew it when we married. He's fainted before. We dated in college and he faints at vomit as well. It usually comes through shortly after. We've been together 10 years, and I've seen him faint maybe 3 times, including this instance. Anyway, he passed out on the grass and my son was still screaming, so I picked him up and carried him inside. When I was dressing his wound, my husband came in a couple minutes later angry that I left him unconscious and unattended in our lawn. We don't live in a dangerous neighborhood. We're friends with our neighbors. He was dressed for the weather because he was sitting on the porch outside anyway. And we live in an area where the climate doesn't fluctuate too much. So I didn't feel there was a risk of hypothermia/heat stroke. It was maybe 70 degrees and clear, which is why we let our son play outside. It only takes a couple minutes to dress my son's wound and kiss it better, so I would have checked on my husband shortly after. But my husband says I should never leave someone unconscious and unattended. I agree with this point generally, but if there is only 2 of us present and our son is hurt, I don't see what the big deal is. He thinks I should have left our son with him while I go inside to get the bandages and dress his wound on the lawn. Or take my son inside, get the bandages, and bring him back out to dress his wound on the lawn. I guess the last idea makes sense, but as a mom with a crying child, I didn't think about it that deeply. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole times 10. You never leave an unconscious person alone. I'm amazed by the number of Redditors who think fainting is no big deal, and who seriously suggest things like grab them a glass of water, get them some ice, make sure they're comfortable, then check on them in a couple minutes. I am kind of mixed on this. If my husband fainted at the sight of blood to the point a cut did him in, I would remove the kid first before trying to wake him up. Otherwise, he will just faint again, and I will still have a screaming toddler and a fainted husband. I really feel like Opie is in a no-win situation here. I'm surprised that so many of the comments seem to be glossing right over this. To me, it seems obvious that Opie's thought process was, remove bleeding child to avoid causing further issues, then check on husband. Do I think that she should have checked on him first? Yes. Do I think that she's an a-hole for it? No. I feel like this is a no a-hole here. I get why he's upset, but I get Opie's thought process. And I'm surprised there aren't more people at least somewhat addressing her mention that he has issues with gore. I'll probably get downvoted, but you're the a-hole. I don't think you should leave someone unconscious unattended even if it's just for a couple of minutes. That's long enough for the tongue to block their airways, and any more than 1 minute of being out is dangerous, and it could have been a heart attack or something more serious. You should have revived him first. A scraped knee isn't as risky a situation. You're the a-hole. Your triage skills suck. Unconscious human left unattended versus kid with skinned knee? And you prioritize the skinned knee? WTF? Plus, the whole post reads like the husband was outside with a baby. The child is 4, old enough to hang on a minute while you make sure daddy isn't dead.